From the pages of IHS Fan Magazine, welcome to Under the Lights, celebrating our 10th season, shining the spotlight on Austin area football teams, coaches, and players. Here are your hosts, Rick Epstein and Rodney Rodriguez.
Good evening, high school football fans. Welcome to show number 5 of season number 8 for Under the Lights, Austin's longest running show featuring local high school football. If you like Austin area high school football, this is your show. We are live here at Bush's Chicken on Brody Lane, right near Bowie High School. Swing by, pick up a magazine free of charge, the IHS Fan Preview magazine, and also say hello, get some great chicken. My name is Rick Epstein. I'm the publisher of IHS Fan Magazine. And do me a favor, if you haven't already done so, take out your phone, follow us on Twitter at IHS Fan. Also get on YouTube if you're already watching us. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We do a lot of high school football games each week, mainly for Round Rock Independent School District. And we also do this wonderful show. Hey, I want to welcome co-host Rodney Rodriguez. Rodney, big week in
hey, boy, I tell you, it's 2 big weeks.
Yes.
But the other part of it, like you and I were talking about, we're getting towards the end of the high school football season.
Yes.
And that's when things are really starting to turn up around here.
Yep. Teams are looking to either win or pack it up, so to speak, for the next season. Hey, we've got some great guests tonight, both from Bowie High School. Well, let's get it started. My good friend, longtime friend, Coach Jeff Abels, who's now been the Bowie head coach for 23 years. This is your 23rd season, but at Bowie, 37 seasons?
37. Yes, sir.
37 seasons, incredible. And of course, you coached a little bit longer than that. So we were just talking earlier about all your experience. You've coached a ton of great players. A lot of them have come back and coached for you. One of them in particular, I got a kick out of because he was on the cover of our magazine, Elijah Higgins, playing for the Cardinals, catching a touchdown pass on ESPN.
I saw that, and making some big blocks too.
He's such a great kid, but over the years you've had players that have gone on to play in the NFL, but you've also had players that have gone on to teach and coach. But even in business, what's it like to have been coached so many young kids that have been so successful?
Well, it's a real blessing to be in this community for so many years, and to, like as you said, to be able to coach so many young. Wonderful young men, and to see them grow up and become dads and be successful in their careers, and then come back and get to see them and see all the things that they've become that you hoped for them, and see their dreams come true. So it's a real blessing for sure.
Absolutely.
Coach, so in your time, like Rick talked about, it's been a lot of years. What's the biggest change that you've seen with high school sports? Obviously, facilities and just it's a long tenure. There had to be a lot of things that you've watched kind of evolve.
I would say probably the passing game. When I first started off, it was wing tee or wishbone, and now everybody's spread. And a few years ago, everybody started going to it, and now it's pretty common. And it's pretty rare to see somebody get under center, as a matter of fact.
Right.
But I would say probably the passing game.
I'm seeing more and more teams going back under center. Even watching the Texas OU game, I saw Texas quarterback under center, and you're seeing it more. Where even I've always wondered, first and goal from the 3, and you put a guy in shotgun. I mean, you get him under center and get into that end zone. I've always wondered that. Coach, you're off to a great start. 5-2. You had a tough one on Friday against perennial power, Dripping Springs. You fell a little short there, but you got to be really pleased. 5-2 start. And what are you most pleased with?
Well, I'm really proud of our kids' effort. They played very, very tough last Friday. Played a great game, great effort. They laid it all on the line for us, and very proud of them for that. And we're getting better every week. We try to talk about that with the guys every week to, get better from last week. And they certainly did that against Dripping Springs, a good football team, played hard, and just came up a little bit short. And we went back and looked at the things that hurt us there, and we're going to get those things corrected and move forward from here.
Well, it doesn't get any easier for you. You go from perennial power Dripping Springs to multi-state champ Westlake this week, and then then you finish out with Aikens and Austin High. And interestingly enough, we talked earlier, your bye week is actually the last week of the season, so that could end up helping you heal some folks as you make a playoff run. But talk a little bit about the Westlake game. I mean, it's been their storied program has just been incredible. It's always a tough one for you. What is the message to the team after coming off that tough loss to Dripping?
Well, I think, as I said a minute ago, we just try to get better every week and go back and look at the film from the previous game and see what we did right and the good things and highlight those and talk about why we did well in those areas, and then go back and look at the mistakes that we made and get those corrected and talk about situations, how we could be different and make that better. But that's exactly what we're doing this week. It's go in, try to get better from what we did last week.
Coach, I was actually doing a game Friday with that shotgun situation that Rick was talking about, and it was 4th and goal at the 1. And I said, so 4th and 1, but it's actually 4th and 5.
Yeah,
because he's out of the gun.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this district that you're in. I mean, obviously, it's always been it's tough. It's tough sledding with that. Now you've got Dripping Springs added to the mix right there. Just talk about the quality of opponent that
everybody's good. Our guys understand that every week we have to show up and play hard and play our best, or we'll be disappointed. And certainly, I think it's one of the toughest districts in the state of Texas. And but you know what? That's a good challenge for us. Is that every week we have to come in and play our best and be at our best to have a chance to win.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your defense. What have you been most pleased with, and who are some of the leaders on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, we had, I believe, 3 returning starters come back from last year, so we have some new faces on defense, and they're 6 games into it now. We still have work to do. I would say Reagan Cooper, our leading tackler last year, he's our free safety this year, is doing a heck of a job. Sean Doherty, lots of guys there. I mentioned Reagan Cooper, but Mason East, another young man that a new face, so to speak, playing middle linebacker. But a lot of guys that haven't played a lot of varsity ball or having to get in there and learn how to do it. And 6 games in, and they're continuing to improve.
Coach, you've been around, as we mentioned, a long time at Bowie. How often do you get to the middle schools that feed into Bowie and recognize the players that you're going to have in a few years? I mean, just like we're going to be talking with Cruz Tello, who you've known for years because his brother was a former quarterback for you. You've probably known him since he was wanting to be a ball boy on your sidelines. But how do you go into the middle schools that feed into Bowie and at least introduce yourself and say, hey, we'd love to have you as a player?
We do, and some of our middle schools feed us and other high schools, so we have to be careful that we're not over there trying to recruit their kids.
Right.
Yeah. But we have a football camp in the summer where we have those kids come up and introduce them to all of our coaches and our offense and our defense. And of course, we have our Little Dogs Pop Warner football program that they do a great job, and we have their coaches come over and have clinics for them. And we've been watching guys like Cruz here for many, many years since they were little bitty.
Right.
And then they come after our game. We have a Pop Warner night where they come out and take the field with us.
I love it.
So it's just trying to instill that in that program.
Yeah.
The pride in what we do.
Yeah, I think that one horse town high schools, and I'm talking about Westlake, I'm talking about Lake Travis, Dripping Springs, where it's just one high school and every middle school feeds into it, and the middle schools can run the similar offense. Mm-hmm. They can have the same terminology, but you've got middle schools that some go to Bowie, some may go to other schools, so you can't have that logical progression. So when they get to the high school, they already know the terminology for the defensive rover position, or
right.
They may even run some plays already. big advantage for those one high school towns.
Absolutely. And we try to do that as much as we can. We don't have control over our middle schools, but we try to talk to those coaches that coach those kids that are going to be coming to us and try to get them to run our offense and defense or as close to it as they can get. And of course, that is a huge advantage. So the more we can do that, the better off we're going to be.
Yeah. Coach, talk about, you're in a beautiful area of South Austin down here, South Awesome, as some people say. Kind of talk about the Bowie Bulldog, the support system, the parents, alumni that come back, and you have great support. I live in Round Rock, but I have a lot of friends down here that are in the Bowie in the Bowie sector. Kind of talk about your supporters. They absolutely love Bulldog football.
Well, it's home.
That's right.
You know, and I like that South Awesome because it is awesome. Yeah. And it's a special place. You were talking about one horse towns, and I was thinking about this the other night. I think we have something pretty close to that because we have such a tight community and a community that supports their kids and supports our programs, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, Silver Stars, cheer, band, you know, whatever it is, they support their kids,
right? And
we support all of our kids. And to me, it's a win-win deal because we're all trying to do everything we can for what's best for kids.
That's right.
And get them involved in as many things as we can get them involved in, because we all know if they're bored and off doing other things, they can get in some trouble. And I think it's a great deal what we do at Bowie that keep these kids active and involved in things, and a lot of great parental support. Obviously, we couldn't do without them. And but yes, this is home and a great community. I'm very blessed to be a part of this community for so many years.
And they're lucky to have you too, Coach. Right. I know. Coach, before we let you go, let's talk about our next guest is your quarterback, Cruz Tella. What makes Cruz such a great quarterback?
You know what? He is a winner. He's a winner, and he's a competitor. He's a character guy that is going to be a guy that represents your program with class on and off the field, and that's what you want in your quarterback. He's one of our captains. He was a captain last year as a junior, the first junior captain that we've had at Bowie High School.
Oh, wow. And, I did not know that.
And you know what? I know when the ball's in his hands and he's at quarterback, he's going to do everything he can to help us be successful. And he's going to represent our school and our program with class. That's what he's all about. That's what his family's all about.
Yeah.
That's what his brother was all about, his mom and dad. I remember seeing him throwing the football with his brother back. He lives right kind of behind me, a little bit behind me there in Shady Hollow. But he's a winner and a competitor. That's what you want your quarterback.
Well, Coach, it's always a pleasure to have you on. You've been one of the greatest supporters of what we do at IHS Fan. You're always responsive. You always hop on the show whenever we need you, and we wish you the best of luck. I mean, you guys are 5-2. You got Westlake, and then finish out the season, and you head into the playoffs as Bowie always does. So good luck to you, and thanks again for being such a great friend.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate all you guys do for us, and thanks for having us on.
Awesome. Absolutely. Hey, when we come back, we will talk with the great quarterback, Cruz Tella, who is having one heck of a year. You are watching IHS Fans Under the Lights.
In the heart of Austin, there's a name that reigns supreme, Covert Ford. For over 114 years, Covert Ford has been driven by the community, offering unbeatable service and a wide selection of vehicles. From the rugged F-150 to the iconic Expedition, Covert Ford has the perfect ride for every journey life offers. Visit Covert Ford Austin, where community drives us. CovertFord.com, off Research Boulevard. Join the Covert family today. The Lodge Poker Club is a members-only card club offering a wide range of daily and tournament gameplay. In Round Rock, just off exit 251 on I-35, the Lodge now boasts the largest card room in Texas with 82 tables, comfortable chairs, and 40 75-inch TVs. The Lodge provides fully trained dealers and on-site security with state-of-the-art camera system to ensure the comfort and safety of our members. Open 24 hours a day. More information at thelodgepokerclub.com or call us at 512-614-4045. Bush's Chicken is a proud supporter of area schools, athletic programs, and booster clubs. With stores in Cedar Park, Round Rock, Georgetown, both North and South Austin, and our newest store serving Pflugerville and Hutto. Bush's serves the Texas standard in real hand-battered fried chicken and crispy tenders, tasty rolls, and that famous Bush's sweet tea. Bush's Chicken, proud supporter of area schools, athletic programs, and booster clubs. The Texas standard. Bush's Chicken. It's good, good, good.
Welcome back to Under the Lights. Rick Epstein along with Rodney Rodriguez. We want to thank the great Coach Jeff Abels.
Tell you.
He's one of the best and truly a better man than a coach. But that goes to say all the coaches that we talk to, it's like each one of them is just, they're in the right profession. They're molding young men, and you want those guys there.
We need a lot more Jeff Abels in the world.
Yes.
And I don't mean just football coaches. It's just, in that leadership role where so many high school coaches, Rick, have told me, I want to make I want these kids to become really good citizens.
Yeah.
And the athletic part comes second.
Oh yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
In high school, you can't recruit. At least most teams can't. And you get what you get. So the winning has to come secondary because you don't know what you're going to get.
Well, I like how Coach said, if they're not doing whatever, they could get into some trouble.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they can. Yes,
so before we get to our next guest, hey, I want to talk about Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Hey, earlier this week, I logged on to my Dave Campbell's Texas Football account. I'm a subscriber. You can be too for just $29.95, and you can get great information on their website, but also you'll be shipped both their magazines directly to your house. You don't have to go to HEB or Walmart, wherever you get your Dave Campbell's magazine. They'll ship it directly to your house before they ship it to them, actually. So become a subscriber. Go to texasfootball.com at the top left. Click on the subscribe now button, and you can get all this great information. They also want to let you know that you can Texan Live is their live stream service of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. You can see many games each week on that application. That's TexanLive.com. Hey, we're going to go from the head coach of the Bowie Bulldogs, since we're in Bowie Bulldogs'
That's right.
backyard here on Brody Lane. I imagine every day this Bowie students eat the heck out of this Bush's chicken.
Yeah, I tell you, I live right by the Bushes there in Round Rock on 620. And don't go to Bushes around lunchtime at Round Rock High School because it is all students.
It's time for the Covert Ford Player Spotlight. For over 100 years, Covert Ford has delivered its commitment to excellence to Central Texas with the latest cars, trucks, and SUVs. Visit covertford.com today, and I'd like to welcome the quarterback of the Bowie Bulldogs, Cruz Tello. And Cruz, what a game on Friday night against Dripping Springs. I know you fell a little short, but Dripping Springs always tough. What was your thoughts? I know after the disappointment wore off, you had to have been happy with how you were able to move the ball and how your team reacted in those situations. Down by 10 points or so. Your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was definitely a tough loss, but we wanted to win that one. But I think it was good for both sides of the ball. Like defensively, it was a great second half, and they only held them to, I think, a touchdown. Yeah, 10 points.
Yeah.
So it was big for them, and then we just want to keep building that as the weeks go on in playoffs.
So it seems like there's been a Tello on the Bowie Bulldog roster for about 50 years. I know it's not, but I know your brother was quarterback, and you grew up wanting to be. You probably had Bowie Bulldog T-shirts since you were born. What's it like being finally? This is your time. You're the senior now. The spotlight is on you and your friends and buddies who you grew up with. From being a kid that looked up to the Bowie Bulldogs, now you are the Bowie Bulldogs. What's it like on a Friday night? What do you feel? What goes through your mind?
It feels great. It's all I've ever wanted. Just watching my brother and always wanting to follow in his footsteps, and it just feels really good, and it's like what I've always wanted.
And now kids come up to you and want, hey, throw me your chin strap or something. They're asking for your autograph now.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I think it was last year I was looking at some stats and I saw Tello, and I'm like, is Diego still playing there? What's going on here? But talk about the season so far for you guys. Obviously, when you get into league play, it's tough. But just talk about, the tradition of Bowie football, I think, is something really special. Talk about the season so far for you and for your squad.
Yeah, so far we've had a good season like the whole time, but I think at the beginning we started off slow, and it's been just like getting better week to week, and that's all we've hoped for.
Well, y'all started off 4-0, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, if that's slow, a lot of teams in this area would love to have that slow. But Westlake is Westlake. They're coming up this week. I talked to Coach Abels. They've won all the state championships, and sometimes in these games, teams lose the game before the game even starts. You look at all the championships. You look at Westlake. They're the team around. What are you telling your players in the locker room this week that those guys, we work just as hard as those guys?
Yeah.
What's the message been this week?
Yeah, it's just like they're just human. They're nothing like they're not like they don't have superpowers or anything. Like just because that's the school doesn't mean that they're any better than us. We work hard too, and like we can go in there and win this game if we like play our best.
So I asked Coach Abels, you were sitting here. I asked him, what makes Cruz such a great quarterback? You heard what he said. You're a leader. You're a competitor. I'm going to ask you the same question. What do you think makes you a good quarterback?
Definitely just like my versatility, like running and passing the ball. But really, it's everyone around me. I might be the spotlight, but everyone around me makes big plays and makes good blocks.
So talk about some of those guys. Who are some of your guys that you go to when you're passing the ball and maybe when you're handing the ball off?
Yeah, Kason Matabella is our running back. He's had a great year. He's a hard runner. And Owen Ball and Owen Langdon and Rowan Wells are our receivers. They've had a big year so far.
Nice. Yeah. I talked to Coach Abels about you ever met Elijah and you ever throw the ball to him?
I think I met him when I was little, but I haven't really.
Hopefully, maybe one day he'll come back and you can throw the ball to him. He's a great guy. He was on our magazine as one of our IHS Fan Top 10 team members.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cruz, talk about your relationship with your offensive linemen. That's you win these games in the trenches, and you can lose these games in the trenches. And like you said, the quarterback gets the headlines. The quarterback does this sort of thing, but it's those guys up front that really take care of business. Talk about how you interact with those, like I call them, the hamburgers. How you interact with those guys.
Yeah, we have a strong connection. We all go out to eat. I've had them over to my house for some dinners.
Always food with those guys.
And then we play video games. We play Madden and Fortnite and stuff. We're just bonding with them.
Nice. So let's flip it over on the defensive side of the ball. Who are some of your buddies that are really balling this year?
Yeah, we got Reagan Cooper. He's had a great year. Sean Doherty, he's been getting after it. Mason East has been getting some big hits in. Taylor Gibbs has been getting some big plays. He has a lot of interceptions this year. And Tremel Banks, he's a sophomore.
So it's, I know it's tough, but, and you have plans. You mentioned earlier before we got on air that you hope to play college football if that opportunity arises, but it may not. And if it doesn't, these are your last few games.
Yeah.
Has that sunk in yet as far as you taking take a breath and be in the moment and say, this is really cool? Because for a lot of people, the end of their high school football playing career, that's it. They're never under that lights again. And they have to think back, like when you're old like me, you think back when we were young, and you always gain a few more yards over the years. So don't worry about that. But what have you had a chance to just say, to take a break and say, this is so cool, and really build it in your memory? Or is it just all
I mean, I think I've definitely thought about it, but I haven't really like sunk in until it's over. I feel like.
Yeah, no, it's tough. Before we let you go, I want to get your thoughts. When my son played for McNeil,
Mhm.
and he had some great coaches. But I often think, what's it like to play for Coach Abels?
Yeah, it's great to play for Coach Abels. It's always a good environment, and he always cracking jokes. He's a funny guy.
So,
But
we often hear the term players coach, and a head coach. It's tough because you want to be positive, but you also have to have discipline. I always said football, if you do not have discipline, somebody's going to get hurt. If everybody's joking around in practice, and somebody's going to get hurt. So you have to have a certain amount of discipline, but there's a fine line of having a good experience, and not every player in high school has a good experience because they feel it might be too much on one side. But your thought is, it's a great environment, even though he's sitting right here, and they're not going to say anything different, right?
yeah.
I also got to ask you, you got to say hello to Coach Purdue. Coach Purdue was my neighbor when he was 3 years old, so I've known Solomon Purdue since he was about 3 years old.
Wow.
Guys, is Coach Thompson still on y'all's staff, or has he retired? He retired. I played football for Howard Thompson at Lockhart, so that that tells you how long ago that was.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I love it.
Well, before we let you go, any last thoughts on what you want to say to Bulldog Nation?
Thank you for supporting and keep coming out because we're gonna have a long season.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Crustello, and we appreciate you being. When we come back, we're going to go over this week's games and also tell you some scores from last week. You were watching this year Under the Lights.
The Lodge Poker Club is a members-only card club offering a wide range of daily and tournament gameplay. In Round Rock, just off exit 251 on I-35, the Lodge now boasts the largest card room in Texas with 82 tables, comfortable chairs, and 40 75-inch TVs. The Lodge provides fully trained dealers and on-site security with state-of-the-art camera system to ensure the comfort and safety of our members. Open 24 hours a day. More information at thelodgepokerclub.com or call us at 512-614-4045. In the heart of Austin, there's a name that reigns supreme, Covert Ford. For over 114 years, Covert Ford has been driven by the community, offering unbeatable service and a wide selection of vehicles. From the rugged F-150 to the iconic Expedition, Covert Ford has the perfect ride for every journey life offers. Visit Covert Ford Austin, where community drives us. CovertFord.com, off Research Boulevard. Join the Covert family today. Bush's Chicken is a proud supporter of area schools, athletic programs, and booster clubs. With stores in Cedar Park, Round Rock, Georgetown, both North and South Austin, and our newest store serving Pflugerville and Hutto. Bush's serves the Texas standard in real hand-battered fried chicken and crispy tenders, tasty rolls, and that famous Bush's sweet tea. Bush's Chicken, proud supporter of area schools, athletic programs, and booster clubs. The Texas standard, Bush's Chicken. It's good, good, good.
Welcome back to Under the Lights. And hey, I want to say a special thanks to Coach Jeff Abels and Cruz Tella from the Bowie Bulldogs. Great guys. And boy, very impressive young man there.
I'll tell you, man, just he just oozes leadership.
Yes.
When you listen to him right there, I think that I can only imagine when I hear a young dude talking like that, just commanding the huddle.
Yeah.
And when he gets those guys, they're going to run through a wall for him.
Yeah. And, Coach Abels, before he left, says, we got a very quiet team this year. They just lead by example, and they just do things that we ask of them. And boy, what in this day and age, that is something to behold. Let's go over some scores from last week, and we'll go over the schedule for this week. Last week, Cedar Park beat Eastview 31-29. Cedar Park's third straight victory. Georgetown 42, Rouse 14. Georgetown scored 35 or more points every game this season. The Eagles are flying high. Pflugerville destroyed McCallum 52-14. Navarro over Crockett 20-7. In 25-6A, Stony Point beat Manor 21-18 in a must-win game for Stony Point. Vandergrift continues to roll with a 47-0 shutout win over Cedar Ridge. That's their second straight year of shutting out Cedar Ridge. Round Rock beat Hutto. You called that game. Your thoughts on that game?
That game started out really slow.
Yes.
I figured there was going to be a defensive struggle, and it was. It was a situation to where the Round Rock defense really proved how good they are. I mean, they were constantly locking down Hutto, and then Hutto made a run at him, wouldn't go away, and Round Rock was able to finish him off. But Round Rock is just one of those steady, kind of like Coach was talking about, kind of a silent team, and they get you in the long run.
Also in that district, Vista Ridge beat McNeil, and that gave McNeil another loss in district play. It's tough with 9 teams in that district. 5 teams are not going to make that playoffs. Dripping Springs 38-35. We talked about that game with both Coach Abels and Cruz Tello. Dripping Springs undefeated when they score at least 14 points. Lake Travis beat Del Valley 56-7. East Central 50, San Marcos 0. Leander beat Chaparral 19-7. Good win for the Lions. Lake Belton over Glen. Glen has had a tough season.
Boy.
Another 1-point overtime loss for them. A&M consolidates 77-0 over Lehman. Lehman has allowed 60 points in 4 straight games for the first time in school history. That's a lot of points, Rodney.
Yeah, it is, and that's one of those things where how do you stop the bleeding when you get into that? That's that emotional part of the game where we talk about where those kids are struggling.
Yeah,
those kids are struggling.
College Station 63-0 over Cedar Creek. Anderson having a great year, 55-24 winners over Hendrickson. Weiss a big win over Hayes, 63-14. Weiss has scored 63 or more points in 4 straight games. Only one other UIL school has done that in the past 5 years, and that was LBJ.
Wow.
Liberty Hill 73, Elgin 52. 17th time in the last 21 seasons, Liberty Hill has scored 70 or more points. And Westlake beat Austin High 49-7. Taylor beat Northeast 57-0, and LBJ over Maynard New Tech 51-0. So let's go over this week's schedule before we say goodbye, and we'll do some predictions. A&M at Hendrickson at the field. These are all games on Thursday night. Achieve at LBJ over at Nelson. Clemens at Johnson at Shelton Stadium in Buda. Maynard New Tech at Travis, and Northeast at Eastside. And Eastside's having a good season this year. They've already got a couple wins. They haven't had wins in a long time.
Man, I love that.
So going to Friday's game, and let's do some predicting. Austin High at Aikens, and both teams looking for a win in this tough district.
Yeah, they really need it. When you get somebody that's not one of those big 4 that we were talking about, it's a little bit of a reprieve. I think I'll go with Austin High here. I think Austin High gets back on the good side this week.
Bowie heads out to Westlake. We talked a lot about this game. Lake Travis at Dripping Springs. Dripping Springs coming off that big win over Bowie. Lake Travis, of course, continues to roll. Always tough to play out at Dripping. This one's going to be a tough one.
That may be the game of the week right there. And the fact that is over in Drip, I think is something where I dare to say I think Drip might pull a surprise.
Vista Ridge at Cedar Ridge, the Battle of the Ridges over at Dragon Stadium, a game you can see on the IHS Fan Webcast Network on Friday night. Stony Point heads out to Hutto. Vandergrift plays Manor, and Round Rock at Westwood. That's at Kelly Reeves. The battle for the bell, the long-running battle between those, and Round Rock's going to get the best of them this year. Sorry, Coach Wood. Round Rock's rolling. They're pretty good.
They really are. They've got a really good quarterback, and I'll tell you something that's going to be interesting there. They've got a kid named Maldonado there, the running back for Round Rock, went down in the second half, and he was not moving around extremely well. So if he's out, that could equalize a little bit right there for him. So that'll be interesting to see what happens.
They got another running back named Moose.
Moose.
Moose. Always a good name for a running back.
Moose on the loose. You betcha.
Judson heads to San Marcos. Glenn at Cedar Park, and Glenn looking for really a must-win. Cedar Park rolling there. Eastview at Georgetown in the Battle of Birkelbach.
Look out.
Both teams call Birkelbach Stadium home, so if you live in Georgetown, this is the game you circle every
Georgetown's
year.
going to close down Friday, I think, for that one, probably.
I bet. Lake Belton at Leander over there at Bible. Rouse heads to Chaparral. Anderson at Cedar Creek heading down to Bastrop area. College Station goes to Bob Shelton to play Hayes. Weiss at Lockhart, the Fighting Barbecues. Weiss is scoring at will a lot. They're going to stop, pick up some brisket,
and still score a lot.
Still score
a lot.
Bastrop at Navarro, Connolly at McCallum, Crockett at Elgin, Liberty Hill at Pflugerville at the field, and Lampasas at Burnett. Those are the games all played on Friday night. It's week 8. There's 11 weeks. So you heard that Coach Abel's their bye week is actually the last week of the season. So they, when they qualify for the playoffs, they're going to have an advantage of getting some people healed up.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, for a lot of times, what I was going to ask, Cruz, because I think a lot of folks think, like with Bowie, for example, playing in that district. Oh my goodness! Which, yes, it's a very tough district, but you're playing the best,
right? And it prepares you for the playoffs.
It does, typically.
Yeah.
But with the way that this works now with Region 4,
yeah,
boom, you go right into the Round Rock ISD district.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just a continuation of your regular season when it comes to Bowie in this case.
Well, another one in the books for our show, Under the Lights. We appreciate you joining us. Make sure you tune in on Friday night for 2 more games on the IHS Fan Webcast Network from the Round Rock ISD football presented by Covert Ford. For Rodney Rodriguez, my name is Rick Epstein, and we'll see you next time Under the Lights.